All right, this is section 1.2b. By the end of this section, you should be able to graph and write equations for a proportional relationship and identify the proportional constant or unit rate given a table, graph, equation, or words. Compare proportional relationships represented in different ways and know the graph of a proportional relationship goes through the origin at 0, 0. All right, first let's start with this problem. It says, Emma is putting together an order for sugar, flour, and salt for her restaurant pantry. The graph below shows the cost Y to buy X pounds of sugar and flour. They're both labeled. One line shows the cost of buying X pounds of flour, and the other line shows the cost of buying X pounds of sugar. From looking at the graph, which ingredients cost more to buy per pound? Justify your answers. This is something you're going to hear us talk about over and over and over in the next few days. So if you look at the graph, you can tell that sugar is more expensive. Why? Because the line is steeper. Steeper, that's an S, steeper. So the steeper the line, the higher the unit rate. The steeper the line, the higher the unit rate. That's something that you're going to want to put in your head and keep it there. Steeper. Okay? The cost to buy salt, it's not on the graph, we're going to put it on there, excuse me, is less than sugar and flour. Draw a possible line that could represent the cost to buy X pounds of salt. Any line that goes through 0 but is under sugar and salt or less steep, sugar and flour can be salt. A line just needs to be less steep than the other two. That means it costs less per pound. All right, moving on. So Don and Betsy are making super smoothies to re-energize them after a long workout. Betsy follows the recipe, which calls for 2 cups of strawberries for every 3 bananas. Don wants twice as much as Betsy, so he makes a smoothie with 4 cups of strawberries and 5 bananas. Don tastes the smoothie and says, "Ugh, this is too tart. There are too many strawberries." Explain why Don's smoothie is too tart. Well, if you look at the bananas he added, there's something wrong. He did not add enough bananas. Okay? So find and describe the unit rate for Betsy's smoothie. And we're going to compare the 2 unit rates, and it'll show us right away what happened with Don. So remember, to find the unit rate, you're going to take Y and divide by X. So we are going to take 3 bananas and divided by the strawberries. So let's do this: bananas over strawberries. Okay, so if you divide this out, the unit rate is 1.5. Sometimes that's easier to do than that. Okay, find and describe the unit rate for Don's smoothie. Remember, we're going bananas over strawberries. So he puts in 5 bananas over 4 strawberries. So his unit rate is, if you divide that out, is about 1.25. So this is why they taste different, because her ratio of strawberries to bananas is different than his. Hers has more bananas for every strawberry. That's why his is so tart. It has way more strawberries in it. Okay? So number 6, write an equation that relates the number of strawberries to the number of bananas for Betsy's smoothie. We talked about this yesterday. Your equation will be y equals unit rate times x. And Betsy's unit rate was 1.5, so our equation is y equals 1.5x. So Don's equation, his unit rate was 1.25, so his equation is y equals 1/2500x. So for all of these, our equations are going to be formatted like that. Now, you don't have the graph on your notes, so you're going to have to kind of write this table. You have the graph, but you don't have the tables. So kind of sketch the tables in there. Okay, so let's start with 0. If she has no strawberries, no bananas. If she has 1 cup of strawberries, we said her unit rate was 1.5. So we're going to multiply by that unit rate. So 1.5 cups of bananas. If she has 2 cups of strawberries, we're going to multiply by the unit rate of 1.5. So 2 times 1.5 is 3 bananas. If she has 3, we're going to multiply by that unit rate. 3 times 1.5 is 4.5. So her unit rate was 1.5, while Don's unit rate is 1.25. So Don doesn't use any strawberries. He has no bananas. Don uses 1 cup of strawberries. He has 1.25 cups, or 1 and then 1/4 of a banana. This isn't cups, this is whole bananas. Then 2 cups of strawberries. He has 2.5 bananas. And 3, he has 3 and 3/4 of a banana. So let's graph these. So Betsy is 0, 0, that's the origin. 1, 1.5, 2, 3, and 3, 4.5. Let me make this as straight as possible. It's not always easy. All right, let's graph Don's in green. Okay, so Don has 0, 0, 1, 1.25. It's going to be close. 2, 2.5. Still close, but not right the same. And then 3, 3 and 3/4. So there you go. That's what your graph should look like. The last little part of this, number 9, says, explain how the steepness of the line relates to the unit rate. So let's look at this. Don, the green one, so Don's line is less steep. So his unit rate is smaller. The steeper the line, the higher the unit rate. See, I've already said it 500,000 times in this video alone. Just wait. You're going to get sick of hearing that. Okay, so now we're going to move on to number 10. It looks different on my my PowerPoint. So we're going to do each section separately, and then you're going to graph this on the very back page, which means all of your graphs are going to be on one page. And then you're going to use the graph and the data that you do on page number 10 to do your homework. So I'm going to make sure you have all the correct answers. So make sure that you have down what you should. So we're going to do the first section A, long distance phone call. The story is that it costs $10 per hour to talk on the phone long distance. So this little word here gives you the indicator that that's a rate, and it says for 1 hour, so we already have the unit rate. So we also have the equation, and we know that that is the unit rate just because of where it is in the equation. So the unit rate here is 10. or $10 per hour. Okay, so let's fill in this table. If you don't talk any hours, you don't pay anything. If you talk 1 hour, you pay $10. If you talk 2 hours, you pay $20. 3 hours, $30. 4 hours, $40. All right, so turn the page and we're going to graph this. Please make sure if you need to stop the video to get your intervals in, copy the intervals down so our intervals all look the same. So we're going to graph this. We're going to plot 0, 0, 1, 10, 2, 20, 3, 30, 4, 40. And we're going to extend this line. You guys should use rulers, but if I lay my ruler down, it will change the screen. So I'm going to label this long distance call. Okay, so let's move on to roller skating. So we just get the table here. And remember, find the unit rate. You're going to take your y and divide by x. So I have 5 divided by 2 here. So that makes my unit rate 5 halves. Or $2.50 per hour. 5 divided by 2. Our equation is y equals 5 halves x, or y equals 250 x. So the story is as simple as this. We don't have to make the stories a big deal. We can say, from what we know from that table, that roller skating costs $5 for 2 hours. Okay, so we know that 1 hour is $2.50, 2 hours is $5, 3 hours is $7.50, 4 hours is $10, 5 hours is $12.50. A lot of money for roller skating. All right, so let's graph this one. Turn your page, graph it. I'm going to graph it in a different color. Let's go green. So 1 is $2.50 down here. We have 0, 0. We're way down here. 2 is $5 right here. 3 is $7.50. 4 is $10. And 5 is $12.50. So this is going to stay right here. And this is roller skating. Okay, right now I'm going to stop the video before I run out of time, and then I'll finish the rest on the next video.